For example, don't sweat the small stuff. Looks kind of old, but I kind of found out that most often those rather old books are way better than the other ones. So the full title is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. Simple ways to keep the little things. And now I can't read more of that by Richard Carson. Forward by Robin Sharma and Christine Carson. Over 25 million copies sold. So let's see. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it is all small stuff. Simple ways to keep the little things from taking over your life by Richard Carson. A book that shows you how to prevent the little things in life driving you crazy. In thoughtful and insightful language, author Richard Carson reveals ways to keep calm down, in the midst of your hurried, stress-filled life. Learn how to put things in perspective by making the small daily changes he suggests, including advice such as think of your problems as potential teachers, and remember that when you die, you're in a box. You're in, quote unquote, the box won't be empty. We should also try to live in the present moment, let others have the glory at times, and lower your tolerance to stress. You can write down, lower your tolerance. I see. You can write down your most stubborn positions and see if you can soften them. Learn to trust your intuition and live each day as if it might be your last. Some very stoic bits here that I see, but yeah. We will see what we can find and what we're gonna have to work with. It's always very difficult to say, first of all, if a book is really good just according to the summary, because it could be good, it could be bad, I don't really know, Even if the summary is good, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that the book is also going to be good. Anyway, what does Don't Sweat the Small Stuff mean? Well, it isn't hard to understand. The thing is, most people waste a lot of time worrying and working upon those things that don't matter in the long run. Simply put, they spend their energies on small stuff rather than the big stuff. Small stuff is subjective though, but a few things like gossiping, checking the latest tweets and notifications on your phone, or giving your useless opinion on other breaking news, etc., don't really affect your lives. But strangely, these are the things that people waste their majority of time on. Well, the thing is, this is a pretty great generalization. Maybe for a minority of people, this is indeed a living. This is what they do for a living. Maybe there are some YouTuber or other social media influencer that just does that. And then, of course, this is not wasted time, but it is rather important. How many times have you found yourself finding imperfections in the things that exist in this world? A lot, haven't you? And how much time do you think you spend on those unproductive activities? Often what happens is that the small stuff looks bigger than it is, and conversely, big things appear small. For example, most people don't realize how meaningful, healthy relationships are. They ignore them and regret later. So don't sweat the small stuff, sweat about the bigger stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff summary. You don't win a marathon by sprinting relentlessly. If you consider life as a marathon, then you must know how things fit in a big picture. There is a misconception among people that high achievers always work hard and never relax. The reality is, if you're running a marathon, you'll need to take small rests or slow down in between. Otherwise, if you sprint relentlessly, you'll injure yourself. So slow down your pace sometimes, don't race all the time. High achievers do both things. They work hard and they relax when they feel so. Another way to look at it is you must try to achieve peace with this process within your mind. Overdoing things often leads to chaos, and chaos is just the opposite of inner peace. Which, by the way, is something that I also had to learn and was also talking about with my therapist, that it just does not make any sense at all to be hurting and be in pain for a long time when it comes to dieting, when it comes to doing whatever. Like, why the fuck would I put myself into a space that is so tough and so, well, actually unnecessarily painful, while actually knowing that I can't sustain that for a long period of time? One should be living a life that one can sustain for just a lifetime, especially when it comes to dieting, especially, well, when it comes to your diet, and especially when it comes to work. Well, am I today gonna just do this amount of work and whatsoever, no matter what my day is and how my day was, and so on and so forth? Like, one has to think about things a bit more, and one has to be his or her own best friend, and being like, well, today I've been working really hard already. Do I really have to go for a marathon as I'm usually doing it? Well, maybe let's go for 10 kilometers. Maybe let's go for 5 kilometers. I do really want to push discipline. This is not my point. But I think being realistic and being, actually looking for the long run and just watching tomorrow and the next day and the next week and the next month, well, can you really sustain that? Can you really just do it for a long period of time? And if you can't, like, what is the point of it? Unless this is your point, unless the small sprints is part of your big picture. Well, I'm gonna cut down just to a certain body weight, and then I'm gonna slow down a bit. I don't know, there are some tactics, there are some things you can be doing that involve just some minor sprints and some rest and sprint and rest, but this is all planned. If it isn't planned, and if you know you can't sustain it, like, what is the point of it? Anyway, when your inner world turns into chaos, you struggle to focus on your goals and your thoughts start to fall apart. Eventually, your energy drains and your will to achieve what you desire starts to vanish. Be a marathon runner, don't sprint. Learn to mix both the fast and slow approach. And it is also fine, by the way, to just slow down a bit from time to time. Watch your train of thoughts. Of course, you can't watch your thoughts with your eyes. The point is, you have to observe what thoughts are popping inside your head. Richard talks about the snowball effect that takes place inside our minds. Sometimes a sequence of thoughts might have terrible consequences. To stop that, you have to observe your chain of thoughts and break the chain as soon as it forms. This won't be easy at all, but with practice and self-awareness, it can be done. So the next time you find yourself going crazy over some random thought, pay full attention. Avoid the snowball effect at all costs. Avoid getting stressed over silly things. Taking stress will do you more harm than good. Indeed. Just don't fuck with stress at all. Third, you won't be able to empty your bucket list. We all have stuff to do. We have our bucket list filled with dreams and goals. So what we do as humans, we put effort in emptying that bucket list one by one. Richard warns that your bucket list will never be fully empty. There will be things that you will never be able to fulfill in your life. Period. But that is okay. Nobody has to do all the things. For instance, if you're someone like Elon Musk and want to send a rocket to Mars, and if somehow you end up dying during the process, what do you think will happen then? Simple. Those dreams will be carried out by people who believe in your mission. That is why it is important that you sweat on important stuff. Everyone has to die someday, and in that limited time, you can only do so much. You can't do everything, you can't be everyone, you can't beat everyone. I don't know, I think also in terms of just the bucket list and doing whatever you want to do for a day, which should be realistic as well, because it is not a sprint, but rather a marathon, because small things compound over time. Not judging yourself and not just trying to understand yourself and trying to just be smart about things makes things good. And if you say to yourself, well, I'm not going to do this today, it is too much. I thought I could, but I came to the conclusion no, this is not the point of my life. I shouldn't be doing that. Don't do it. And it is fine because you're not judging yourself. I think I'm going to end the episode there. See you the next time. Bye-bye.